maybe. I think. But they want, so Addison, Dollar, and money. So it qualifies for singing. And then, my Riley, they're not, they balance, they qualify. Registration. Well, I don't know the time yet. Well, excuse me. There's not a 10-8. Did I name my meeting wrong? Yes. Let's see if it'll let me. You know what? I'm not gonna try to edit it while it's running, but I'll go back and edit it. You are correct. Yes. Hi there.
That's why it's today. She's coming back tomorrow. So.
And call this meeting to order for October the sixth, 2025, with the Ashe County Board of Education. Start first, as always, with roll call. Ms. Janet Ward,
Present.
Ms. Teresa Calhoun,
Present.
Ms. Polly Jones,
Present.
Ms. Diane Eldon,
Present.
Josh Rogan present as well. Next on the agenda, we have approval of the agenda. Any changes or anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Calhoun. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor, raise your hand. Next, we'll start in open session for everything. First, we have Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm a sixth grader at home that just learned all of that, so I'm very excited. He knows the pledge very well. We just sometimes forget liberty and justice for all.
Those are important things.
And we'll start things off here with comments from the superintendent.
So first of all, thank you for everybody who is here tonight. I do want to say that, and I'm going to skip to this a little bit. We do have a student representative here. We have and Hayden Donaldson is from our early college. She is the something president, the vice president of the student council. And we are thankful she is here. Our Addie is in the tennis championships.
Addie Dollar, Addie Williams, qualified for regionals
Excellent.
and singles and qualified for
Fantastic. So they are
no, the Williams sisters.
the Williams sisters, Addie and Addie, tennis. That's right. So anyway, we're very proud of them, but they would not be able to make it tonight for that reason. And then we had from the high school end one that may be late. And Claire emailed me and she said she was trying to make it here on time, but felt like she was going to be a few minutes late. So we will have her give her update soon. And then Felice was unable to make it this evening as well. So welcome Hayden to join us here. And then if you guys noticed in the board agenda, there are some questions that they're going to regularly report on happenings at their school that's happened, whatever has happened since then. So it may be faculty or student highlights. It may be big events or things that they're looking forward to. So I know Hayden is prepared on behalf of the early college tonight. And then if Claire is able to make it there at the end, I'll respectfully ask if she has an opportunity to share on behalf of the high school as well. And if not, we'll look for her report next month. There are several upcoming events on here, lots of sporting events, and we have playoffs and things that are happening at this point in time for our fall sports. We had a fantastic homecoming win on Friday night with our football team. And so I know that the kids were excited about that. It was a beautiful, albeit cold, at least for me, evening. And I broke out the hand warmers on a couple of occasions and even gave some away on Friday night. We also have, in addition to different tournaments, upcoming, we have we've had two last week, two fall festivals that were highly successful, one at Mountain View and one at Blue Ridge. And I ate my share of peanut butter bars and hot dogs. They were very, very good. The pizza looked great as well. And I think if you had your fill of sugar on those nights, and little trinkets were very, very popular, as were the cakewalks. So I know that the schools are very thankful for the families that showed up, and it was so crowded. There was a hallway. I did not make it down at Mountain View. And so I hear there was a broom race and a few other things that may have made its way onto some video that Jerry might want to show later, but I know the kids had fun and the students certainly had fun. Upcoming this week next week, there is a fall festival and haunted trail at Westwood Elementary School. So from 6 to 9, is that correct? And so there'll be plenty more fun to happen on that evening as well. So that is a day that we have an early release for our students. And then the following day is a professional development day. So of course that's on our calendar. We also have a community day at our middle school. And I know that Ms. Hines and her team of students has been working tremendously hard on highlighting some of the really good things that they have been doing, including the Leader in Me. And I know that you'll see some new things that we haven't in past. It's been a couple of years since we've been to the middle school on official visit, and they're going to highlight some new things during that visit. We're going to be doing visits at different schools, but I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at some of the new things that they're able to highlight and some of the leadership of students during those visits as well. On October 31st, we're planning for the Read and Treat, again with our media specialists and Amy downtown West Jefferson. So we look forward to participating in that. And I'm not going to read down through the rest of them. There are a whole bunch of different things on there that we can participate in over the next few weeks. As far as successes in the schools, we try to highlight the great things that are happening, and sometimes it's just not possible to highlight everything. But there's some special people that I wanted to call attention to. You've probably seen these in social media, but Terry Richardson, last week, we did not go all the way to the coast because of all the torrential rains that they were having because of the double hurricane that we thought we might even see some ramifications from. But she was named the very first ever GSEA EC Director of the Year at the first ever annual SPEDI Awards. And so this is hosted by the Global Special Education Associates and the North Carolina Council of Administrators of Special Education, or in short known as NCCASE. And they had a really nice dinner. I had some EC director and other friends that were sitting in the audience. And when Terry and I didn't really know that she was going to get the award until that day. And so I said, Terry, why don't you meet me over at dinner at the Mexican restaurant? And so we sat there, and that was about 5:30-ish, and didn't realize that they weren't going to make the announcement until after 8. And so that Monday evening, we were sitting there, and they put us on live, and we could hear the applause as they had introduced Terry and the award. And I know Terry doesn't like all this attention called to her, but boy, she deserves it. And she is absolutely one of the very best exceptional children's directors I've ever worked with. She knows her stuff, but more importantly, she cares about children. So congratulations. And apparently their committee thought so as well. Westwood Elementary School, this is a really exciting award. And this week, not next week, this week, we will learn how or where they placed. But Westwood Elementary School is one of only 10 schools in North Carolina that's met the eligibility requirements for consideration of the National ESEA Distinguished Schools Award. And this is specifically for schools that show excellence in serving special populations of students or students with disabilities. And so again, we're really proud of Westwood, all of our schools really, but Westwood is especially deserving of this honor. The top 2 schools in this category, we'll discover who that is on Wednesday. And Julie will be there. This is a federal program, so Julie Taylor will be there. Scott will be there, as well as
Fran Franca, our EC chair.
so Fran Franco will be joining them. I wasn't sure who was going to go, but they're very deserving. The top 2 will compete for the national award. So that will be in Colorado in February. So let's hope that Westwood is able to take that award away. But if not, to be one of the top 10 of all schools. This is not just elementary, middle, high schools in all of North Carolina. And that's based on our test scores and how our students perform compared to everybody else. So kudos to Westwood and the entire. And I'll say, while, federal programs at EC are recognized in this process, our special needs students are general ed students first. And so it takes every single teacher and staff member and administrator to make that happen. And so kudos to everybody at Westwood. Ashe County Middle School Teacher of the Year, speaking of another Richardson, and we will, she was actually honored, last week? Lots of things have happened in the last week, but she was named the Exceptional Children Educator of Excellence for her outstanding work with the school-based enterprise activities and her commitment to creating an inclusive environment. And she has also earned a spot in the state competition in November for exceptional children. So kudos to Corey. And Corey's also a pretty great volleyball coach there at the middle school too. So we're really proud of all the things. I didn't see Corey here tonight, but she's coaching volleyball. And so we're really thankful for what she does for all of our children. But I've seen her at work with our students with special needs, and she's truly gifted in that way. So kudos to Corey. We had 87 Ashe County High School students, 46 juniors and 41 seniors that were inducted into the National Beta Club on September 26th, which was a lovely ceremony at Ashe County High School. Well done. These students truly embody the 4 pillars of achievement, character, leadership, and service. This, of course, was posted on Facebook. We had a full crowd, including every board member at the awards ceremony. Kudos to all the kids and their accolades. They earned that opportunity to be there and receive that award, but I'm really proud of the number of families that showed up to celebrate with us during the school day. It was a full crowd, so excellent. Blue Ridge and the middle school cafeteria teams, we've highlighted some of the others, but they earned high sanitation ratings with a 99.5 for Blue Ridge and a 99.0 for the middle school. And, they serve up clean kitchens. So, it's outstanding what they do. And, the middle school they're building is a little old, and we are getting a new school building, and they're not going to know what to do with themselves in the beautiful new kitchen that they will have. But certainly they do an awesome job of serving and keeping those clean sanitation ratings. We're really proud of how hard our cafeteria ladies work. And man, we do have, I'm sorry, I can't say ladies anymore. We do have both, and one's at Blue Ridge. Bus garage mechanic, Joe Cox, no relation, but, maybe he is through through John Cox, if we were talking about lineage here. But he participated in the NCDPI bus or 30-day inspection class, and he completed his certification last month. And this training guarantees that our team is fully certified and up to date with the state inspection standards. So we're excited. Brandon, is that the one that you attended as well?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so there's another one that we'll have to highlight with you at next month's meeting. But we're proud of them, and we're proud of all of our people who step out and make sure that they are fully certified and go that extra mile. Our best of the year educators, we had our dinner on September 16th that you all were able to enjoy. We'll learn that a couple of them move on to the state competitions during that. Hopefully, some of those deadlines are upcoming for our administrator of the year, as well as I think all of our paperwork's done for the beginning teacher of the year, as well as the teacher of the year and the CTE teacher of the year. So we highlighted all of them, but they'll get to compete at that next level. Blue Ridge first grade teacher Deb Hess and our administrative assistant Rhonda Smith were voted by their peers as being September Employees of the Month. And we highlight 2 people each month. And anyway, that first grade team at Blue Ridge is absolutely outstanding. But kudos to Deb Hess for being nominated and receiving that recognition. We also have maintenance and custodial teams at Mountain View Elementary that have really replaced an age-old wood deck and made quite a few improvements to the playground. So it's looking really great there at Westwood. We really appreciate them doing that. You can check out the pictures on social media, which is fantastic. And then we had quite a few Ashe County employees and students who represented Ashe County schools at the Mental Health Forum, Out of the Darkness Community Walk on September 14th at Patty Mountain State Park. And this was held during Suicide Prevention Month, and it raises awareness and support and hope to empower our community to prioritize mental health and resilience. And you'll hear from Jamie Little in a little bit. We have ways to go, but at the same time, we're making some progress from the way that we've invested in students. But it won't be enough until we have all of our students that are healthy in that way. And then I do want to recognize our principals that are standing or that are sitting here right now. This is National Principals Month. And our schools are so fortunate to have the leaders that we do. Principals, can you stand up? Now, Mitchell had class tonight, so he could not be here. But I just want to thank you all publicly for what you do. And I hope that people that are watching tonight or see this on replay take the opportunity to say thank you. Sometimes you don't hear the good things. Sometimes it's the other things that you hear, and you willingly take that because it's a part of the job. But most importantly, you take it because you want what's best for kids. And so thank you for the tireless and sometimes thankless job of being a principal. We did have Claire who was able to make it. And so Claire, in a couple of seconds, I'm going to have you share some of those updates that you have. And we're going to start though with our Ashe Early College. Miss Donaldson, would you like to share?
So we've had a lot of great things happen for the first quarter. We have some unique classroom projects that have taken place. We had a vectored field day where students created a series of vectors outside on the soccer field and then solved for the result of vector mathematically. So that was very hands-on engaging for Mr. Armstrong's class. And then for Mr. King's, we had a Bill of Rights board game activity where students designed and played original games to quiz each other on legal protections provided by the Bill of Rights. So that was for social studies. And we had 30 beta students competing in the district convention on October 28th. All of our freshmen at the moment are enrolled in a WCC certificate program. So that could be criminal justice, business, or digital media, and all are on track to complete a certificate by the end of freshman year.
Yeah, can I pause you right there? That's so important. So by the time their freshman year of high school, they will have graduated from Wilkes Community College with a certificate in one of those three areas. So that's pretty awesome. Go ahead.
Students have also begun earning their Adobe Photoshop credentials, as freshmen. And then we also have, our first theater production at the Civic Center coming in November 13th through the 15th. That'll be nightly at 7, starting at 7 p.m. And that's thanks to the Arts Council and the Civic Center, as they work with us to provide a space for rehearsal and, the performance. We also have upcoming UNCW Theater Department visit planned for later in November. And we have some community service and volunteer initiatives that students have been leading. We have community service with the New River State Park at Wagner Access in August. This is to help with the Japanese slit grass invasion. And students loaded 143 bags full, which equaled 2,310.88 pounds. And Beta Club completed their first Adopt a Highway roadside cleanup in September. All 9th and 10th grade students volunteered at Blue Ridge and Mountain View elementary schools on Friday, October 3rd to help with the fall festival. And we have some new clubs at the early college that taking place this quarter. We have the Skillet Club that Addie Dollar had Addison Dollar created, which monthly guest speakers come in to talk about life skills. So in September, we had Miss Kitty Honeycutt, and she spoke to students about communication skills. And coming up this month on October 23rd, Becky Greer will be talking to students about resumes and interview skills. We also have the Poetry Club started by Riley Williams and Destiny. Sure, not just everybody. Yes. They are planning a poetry slam at Open Mic Night, which the Arts Council, also thanks to the Arts Council for coordinating the Philip Shabazz Poetry Workshop. This has inspired the students to start that club. We also organized first aid drive, created cards for first responders, and planned Spirit Week, and for homecoming dance, which is actually this week. This week is Spirit Week, so our dance is this Saturday. We also hosted an ice cream social, and we have for future plans, we have movie nights, wall of positivity, and a toy drive coming up. These are some student and staff achievements. So we have students that got accepted into the Dick Miller Youth Leadership Program. For juniors, it was Anna Gray Roten, Andrew Mash, Braden Shepard, Emma Howell, and Henry Hernandez. For seniors, we had Melanie Peters, Lacey Lambert, Addison Williams, and Addison Dollar. James R. Scott 3D printed a topographical map using public data. And Mr. Kuntz and Ms. Williams presented at the National NCCEP Gear Up Conference in July, which was held in San Francisco. The title of the presentation was Formal Roots to Digital Futures, where they shared the development and implementation of our digital media certificate program. And then Melody Pierce attended the National Academy of Future Physicians in Boston this summer, where she participated in lectures for Nobel Prize recipients and watched live surgery. She also was accepted to join the Society of Torch and Laurel. Then we have Junior Henry Hernandez, which participated in the NC Governor's Page program last week. He toured key government buildings and historical landmarks, and he engaged in developing a policy proposal and met with government officials. We have some upcoming things like events. We have a college night college night on October 14th. We have ETSC reps visiting our school on October 8th. And we are visiting App State Biology Day / tour on October 20th. All right.
So when you let students tell you all the things that are going on in schools, you really get a lot. And so kudos, because I know that not everything was on that list, but it feels like it was an exhaustive list. But I hope that it's giving you an idea of what we do in our schools, what our kids do, what our teachers are doing for children, and where they're going next. And hopefully they'll be able to share things like that all year round for you. Did you have anything to share at this time for Ashe County High School? Well, can you all hear her? You're pretty soft-spoken. You want to go up there? That's up to you.
I guess just
There you go.
Hi. I'm so sorry for my
You're good.
lateness.
You're good.
I had to take one of my friends home after golf practice, so, okay. So, let's see, I would like to apologize on Felice Zoo for not being here. He had some online college work tonight, so he could not make it. But before then, we did go over, he had a lot of academic things that he would like to go over, as well as, some things that our senior class, I guess you could say, had some questions for, but I'm gonna leave those for him for next time, because I know he'll wanna touch base on them a little more. So for first off, we have for academic and instructional highlights, we have, I know some current, class projects we've had. I know Miss Wells has had her English classes do the cereal box project, which I know she has done for many years now, where I believe they read a book and they do a little cereal box. It's like, oops, sorry, about like this big, and they just talk about the summary, the theme, and all about the author, which has always been a really fun project. I know Miss Finley, who does child development and early childhood development, had some of her students take home the real life babies, which I took both of those classes and it was an honor, but very tiring project. So I definitely know what those students went through. It's super fun, but definitely very tiring. I will say that. I know Mr. Russ, who does American History and AP Government, I think. He has had students do, I don't know if I'm saying this right. I had one of my friends kind of describe it the best she could to me. The students in his classes made board games, diagrams, playing cards, certain games, and they connected it with the information that they were learning in class, which I thought was pretty cool. We had done something similar my junior year as well, so I thought that was pretty cool. See, moving aside to teachers, I know Miss Molly, who is now she's in student services this year. She's new, but she is offering mainly juniors and seniors, I believe, to discuss scholarship opportunities and further opportunities after high school during Husky Hall times and after school, which I thought was very beneficial. We've also had Miss Lorena, who is in charge of college and careers, I think.
Yeah.
She's upstairs. I know that. I've talked to her a couple of times. She's also offering many things like this. So student life, we have a lot. So our beta induction did go very well. I did attend. I'm not in beta this year, but I did attend and it went amazing. There's also, I know club-wise, I spoke to Mr. Farmer about this. There's also a possibility, I don't know if it's still happening, but the possibility of a dog pound club, which I was super, super excited about because I love our student section. Speaking of student section, our student section at our football games has been probably the biggest I have ever seen it be. And I would say that is a huge honor because I was kind of directed to be the head of it this year. So seeing all those students show up and cheer for our football team and our cheerleaders has been really amazing to watch. Student council and their dedication to homecoming, setup, takedown, and planning has been a lot. And I would just like to mention all of those on council and how much they have done because man, it has been crazy this year. As well as our homecoming spirit week went very good. There was a lot of participation in every day. So I know the students really enjoyed it. So I always love seeing everyone dress up. And another huge, huge thing would be our Ashe County High School Husky Morning Show. That has once again been a major, major hit. Students from freshmen to seniors absolutely love it. And we love just the diversity of it, all the different students and everything that they do and getting interviewed. It's just such a great thing to watch on Fridays during homeroom time. Sports wise, I know volleyball has had a very good season so far, and soccer, cross country, women's golf, and women's tennis, as well as our other sports. I know those are just the big ones that have done really good this year. Today is also National Coaches Day, and I saw a lot of students showing their appreciation, which was really awesome. And I have noticed a lot of the stands at most games, including volleyball, football, soccer, the stands have been pretty packed, which is honestly awesome. We love to see everyone supporting our athletic events. Also, another big thing that I would love to mention is this thing that the Lighthouse team has done, which is called getting clipped. So the Lighthouse team has invented just little, I don't
Clothespins.
Clothespins, thank you. They have to.
A little intuited before your time, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was not coming to my mind. They took clothespins and they wrote positive things, just saying you are awesome, you are beautiful, you are kind. And they go around clipping, just attaching it to the back of someone's shirt or their collar. And this goes for teachers and students and admin, and just clipping them. And then they pass it on to the next person, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I'm really sad that student council didn't think of that before they did. But I think it is something that really brings a smile. Ooh, sorry, I keep hitting that. A smile on students' faces. So I love that, and I hope they keep making more clips and keep it going for a while. Let's see. Another thing for leadership, I know many students have stepped up to express their appreciation and their willingness to get others to join clubs on the Husky Morning Show, which is sometimes a big thing for a lot of people, since some people have, stage fright or not very photogenic, I guess. So that was definitely a big thing. There's been a lot of students that have stepped up and let them record. So as well as a lot of people going on the Husky Morning Show to talk about fundraisers and events. I love a lot of people being up there to express whatever clubs or events they're a part of. I know, and like Hayden had mentioned, there have been a couple of students that were accepted into the Dick Miller Leadership Youth Program. That would be senior Hadley Goss, senior Claire Hauk, and junior Annie Claire Perkins. So the three of us are very happy to be a part of that. Let's see. We do have a lot of I guess this is moving a little to the side about organization of staff members. We do have a lot of new staff members at the high school, so yay. I'd also like to pick on Miss Gamble, who is here. She is our gear coordinator, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was actually a part of the lead program through Gear Up, and she has informed us that there's going to be a new coalition of students, and I'm very excited. So I cannot wait to help out with that. And then to talk about the future for Ashe County High School, I will say I do know that a lot of our juniors and seniors found the career fair beneficial. I did, especially since it's that time of applications. It's so much fun. I know there are a lot of people picking up brochures and talking to all the different representatives from each college. So that was definitely beneficial for a lot of students, I would say. I will say another thing, after homecoming this past weekend, which was also very populated, very big hit. I know a lot of students stayed till probably past 10 o'clock if they could. So that went very well. But I know a lot of students are already ready for prom to be here. There's been a lot of talk about prom and where it's going to be and all this and that. So I know that's a big thing coming up as well. But for now, that is all that I have. And like I said, next meeting, there's going to be probably a lot to do with academics from Felice Sue's perspective. So thank you guys.
And that's all.
Great. Thank you both for that. I don't have anybody on the public comment. That's what I know of there, so we'll jump on down from there to the new middle school update. Ms. Allison gets up.
We are doing good with what we can. We have had rain, not as much as we did last month. But the contractor is trying to, use lime to stabilize the soils. I think I shared some pictures with y'all yesterday, so you get the full effect of what that looks like. The plumbing contractor is installing waste lines in the classroom wing. This is for the restrooms, the science labs, housekeeping closets, and that kind of thing, and they are making good progress in the classroom area. The electrical contractor has installed, raceways from the first transformer into the main electrical room. That's also at the classroom wing. The foundation contractor has got all the wall footings, column footings in the classroom wing, and they're also now starting on the wall, separating, area A and area B. Segmental block walls finished. I think that was finished when y'all were out there. Stream work on both ends is finished. And Blue Ridge Electric, there is some 3-phase underground that is, has to be relocated. That has been working on the schedule for that. And that is now, we're looking to do that next week. So, things are moving on. Just hoping to beat winter. So we get some things done. So does anybody have any questions?
What's the concrete situation?
We're getting into a rhythm. It's, I'd say a little better. Real test is gonna be when we do our first slab pour, which is probably gonna be November. The first slab pour is gonna be the first classroom wing, which is gonna, and we'll break that up into 2 sections, and also the big wall area that we're going to be doing that separates A and B. Right now, they're working on rebar, tying rebar up. What they have done is they have pulled, when they have to have these big pours done, they pull trucks up from up the mountain and they schedule it way ahead of time. So they have been, when they do these big pours, they can't, what they call have cold joints. So they bring a lot more reinforcements to bear. So when we have those kind of pours, they have, worked it out. But as far as having a steady flow of trucks, it's gotten better. It's not ideal, but it's gotten better. They're working some things out.
It's busy up there.
Mhm. We did have a field trip, if you will, if anybody wants to schedule another. I know everybody's schedules couldn't work it out to make it. So if anybody else wants to go, I'm happy to take another tour. So
Maybe the challenge around.
it was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah. So anybody have any questions?
Just want to thank you for all your hard work. We appreciate you.
It takes us all.
It does.
You have an insulated hard hat for later this year.
We have insulated pants.
Hard
Socks.
hats don't come with.
No, no.
Oh,
It's gonna be windy there, isn't it?
yeah, we'll be windy on there. Thank you so much. Next, we've got for the board, starting with our action items, we've got the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the past meeting, the closed session notes, the on-ramp data agreement, and Mountain View Elementary School sinkhole and playground pad project. So those are all under the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion we approve.
Thank you, Ms. Eldridge. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Next, we've got the AASA conference.
So I've been invited to present along with 2 other superintendents at a national conference in Nashville, Tennessee. Every year they have, they don't keep track of who they, the percentage of I guess, presentations that they accept. But it is highly competitive. Anyway, this would be with Dr. Rob Jackson of Buncombe County and Kathy Amos of Yancey County. And we have diverse perspectives on crisis recovery from a school system perspective. And anyway, we've been accepted to present, and I would love to represent Ashe County on a national platform.
Motion to accept the, they think the same.
Okay. I move that we, approve the presentation.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
2 seconds, we're good. So, any questions, comments for Dr. Cox?
You know, they will have a, I presented at this conference before I was a superintendent, a lot with my dissertation years ago, like a long time ago. And they had a section where some of it was recorded, but I don't know whether that they'll have that at this point in time. But if so, I'll happily send you the link. This Thursday will be televised on YouTube, and whomever wins this Thursday also goes to this conference.
Any other questions? All those in favor, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Next, we've got the 25-26 budget resolution.
The 2025-26 budget resolution, and that's a result of all of our hard work since springtime trying to get a budget pulled together. Been a difficult year without a state budget, but I think that's been the tune for the last several years. So we're learning to adapt and keep moving forward. There is one place I'd like to draw your attention to in the capital outlay. It is a large budget balance budgeted amount. And that was on the recommendation of our auditor because we will start making large payments on the middle school project. And even though the county is doing that, we still have to put it on that.
So that's just our, grant.
No, it would be, what we're spending, just what we're spending. Sandy has made a draw of about $6,000 on the grant so far. So, you know, we still got a little ways to go on that.
Doesn't the, other parts start next month, is that? I'm not sure.
It's coming, it should be coming up soon, but we don't know, how much on each of them, do we? The amount on each, it's not necessarily regular. Approval of the budget resolution.
Do I have a motion to approve the budget resolution?
I'll make the motion that we approve the budget resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Calhoun. Any other questions or comments?
I was concerned about the local fund, the fund balance per today.
Right, so there are pieces in the current expense budget we have to have on the books, like Amy has to have about $300,000 showing in line for E-rate. Now, we never touch that money, it just has to be showing off the books. And then you always want a percentage of a contingency in there to, in case major things happen, which we know can happen. And it also still has a little bit of a salary increase in case the state budget does come through. I didn't want us to be caught off guard. I don't expect anything to come through based on everything we're hearing out of DPI. So the state has a chance in next, was it on October 20th? They're coming back on October 20th and 21st. We do not anticipate anything at that time, and then maybe again in November. More than likely, it won't be until May when they come back in session that they make any budget decisions. Which is unfortunate for her.
Where would that make our fund balance? If I mean, we use those funds?
the goal is to never use them
Correct.
as funds. And you know, I don't think we'll have to, I'll say that. Yeah. You know, we do our best to not use any fund balance or minimal. Probably 10 years ago, we were approved to use 225,000 a year. We've only had to do that one time at my 10 years finance officer, so, we definitely have gotten better at budgeting tighter and closer to our, total allotment. We were what, $26,000 or something last year. I mean, when we're talking about millions of dollars, we're getting it that close. Oh, well, okay, this year was real close.
Yeah.
We don't have our final audited numbers yet, so, that was a little close.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand.
Thank you.
Next, you've got the personnel for the board. You've got those in your packet, including the addendum for those. You have a motion to approve the personnel and the addendum.
I move we approve personnel and addendum.
Thank you, Ms. Ward. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor, raise your hand. Thank you. Last item under action that we have for this evening is the overnight field trip to UNC Dublin.
I'll introduce myself real quick and then we'll get started. So, my name is Hope Gamble. I'm Ashe County's new Europe director. I'm really excited to be here with you all. I'm just from one county over in Allegheny, so very exciting to be working in Ashe County, but it has been a month so far and it has been awesome and great, but also jam-packed. And I'm loving getting to work with Ashe County Early College and Ashe County High School. And I have the fabulous Mr. Green, who has already worked with our former Europe director, Ms. Dackey, to plan this awesome field trip that we are going to get to make happen with the use of Europe funds next month.
Oh, hi, I'm Mr. Green, and with me, I have Haley Luster. She is a sophomore here at the early college and is part of our theater troupe that we have for our theater. Can you all hear me? Okay,
Yes.
I can tell from here. All right, and we're just going to come here to just talk about our trip and why what we plan on doing. Would you like to start off? Or you want me to? All right, go ahead.
So as he said, I'm a sophomore at the early college. I've been an avid theater kid for many years now. And just a little promote, I am lead for our up and coming production of The Internet is a Distraction. Ooh, look at Kate. It is November 13th, 14th, 15th. So November 13th, 14th, 15th, and I would love to see all your shiny faces. But this trip would help us kind of grow as a cast for our spring production. And me personally, I am going to explore a career in either acting or directing. And going to tour UNCW would help me see more opportunities, more places that I can go, that I can explore to make sure I can really grow in my career. We also get to see a production, so I get to kind of see the performance level that high that I've never got to experience so far. So I really would enjoy that, and just getting to go there with people that are also theater kids and also enjoy all these fun opportunities would be real great. And just I'd be more than thankful to be able to go.
That's actually great. But yeah, actually, what's actually really cool about this trip, last year, I was able to get a grant to fund the theater. It was a club dance class, and we were trying to go see a specific show, but we weren't able to because Halloween hit right when it was happening. And this school is actually doing the show. We're really looking forward to it. It's just something that we initially planned and weren't able to because of the destruction of Halloween. So it's just something we're really excited about, really looking forward to. Yeah, thank you.
No cost to kids.
Oh, I
I'll
apologize.
help
Sorry.
on with that.
Yeah, thank you. My bad. Yeah, there.
Yours would be funding the trip.
Yeah.
Mr. Green and Ms. Campbell would be attending the showdowns.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah, those are other details. But yeah, lodging, college, food, and ticket cost is all gonna be covered by Europe.
Yeah, and the campus tour will be organized and we'll get a special tour of the theater department. So it'll be a great experience.
Do you have an itinerary yet that we can have some idea of when you're leaving, what you're gonna do and when you're coming back?
We can get that to you where Ms. Gamble's coming into the position of playing catch up. We're like, we knew we had to get it on the board agenda to get approval, so, but we can absolutely get you the agenda as soon as they do that.
Well, that's not necessarily from approval, I'm always interested.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a wonderful opportunity for Ms. James.
Anything else you need to know about, the trip? Okay.
Well, I'll entertain a motion to approve this overnight trip.
There you go.
Do I have a motion?
Second, make a motion that we approve this trip.
Thank you. Ms. Evers, do I have a second?
Thanks.
Yeah. Ready to go.
Mr. Ray, we appreciate your willingness to take kids on this. It's immeasurable what they've learned outside of the classroom lessons.
That's important. And it's hard to do sometimes.
Ms. Campbell, we're gonna break you.
Any other questions? Those in favor, raise your hand. Up you go. All right.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Next, we've got items for the board updates, discussion, considerations, and presentations for the board. We've got first our FEMA update. I think we'll have Mr. Jody up here. Quite a bit. For the next couple of them.
Well, this one is Jody and Lakin. This is a combination of money and fixing things.
Yeah, like it's as much a part of this as we all have to do this, Amanda as well. It's a big toll in what we do for this. But it's like I said, I've going on 7 months and I'm glad to share with the board. This is really exciting to hear all these students do these things and as, you know, parent, this is really nice that I can serve young people the way you're doing it. Feel blessed to be part of it.
All right, so in your packets, you should have seen the October FEMA update, and I've got highlighted some key points I just want to go over. The top part that addresses the obligated, that means that FEMA's approved that. We're just waiting for the money to come in if it's not already came in already. So we've had a total of $207,427.54 come in or on the way. First project that's highlighted, the footbridge property. Due to the weather, they've had to extend that a little bit, because they're trying to fix under the bridge at the high school.
Yeah, and I was actually out there today and it's moving along. There was a slight little hiccup, but we are moving along. That project should be completed very soon.
Materials for the money.
That's for the baseball and softball field. For the footbridge, it's just in the weather delay, yeah.
I'm gonna enlarge mine.
That's okay. But that's the next point. Baseball field and the softball field at Ash County Middle School, materials have been delayed. So we're having to push the project out to.
But it was
later.
approved. But it was approved.
Yes. That's for the
So
dugouts.
technically they're, you know,
Hold on.
separate. So there's a
Yeah.
baseball field work, softball field work, and a dugout project on the side. So this is just baseball, softball. It was a dirt, we added dirt to the project to help smooth out the field, and there was just a time lag on dirt to be delivered. It should be here this week or next. We'll be in a good spot for the season when it comes. It's just a matter of dirt. It was extended the contract, finish time as opposed to what was originally signed.
The drain system and sinkhole at Mountain View Elementary, I believe it's mostly done except for the concrete at this point.
Yeah, I was out there today. They finished putting rock down and I believe that they're just waiting for, the box in and pour concrete.
And then the early learning center roof, we've sent the contract to Terracon. The next steps are to schedule a site assessment with Terracon to go over those roof plans and get it evaluated. On down, under the projects and process, we've got a few projects that we're still working on. For the first one, for the embankment failure at Ash County Middle School, which is where the old storage building was for the erosion control. we're waiting on that signed contract to come back in from the bidder. The relocation of the new storage building, it is currently in FEMA's queue. There, since it's a new building, they're having to go through a bunch of hoops to get that started. The tennis court fence and the, actual tennis court, we've actually sent that on, and so it's been signed. We're just waiting to get, work lined up for that vendor.
Yeah, and we have a scheduled date, and we will be scheduling demo here the next month or so. And then project will be worked on in the springtime. So we should have the new pad and fencing and installed for spring. We should be looking at summertime opportunity in late spring.
And the best news for last, we got approval for the concrete dugouts at Ash County Middle School. Their contract will be completed by December 31st.
And those have been, the old ones have been demoed. And we're excited about getting those and got the plans for those to come in.
And they're nice.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thanks for all the work.
Thank you.
Jody gets to stay.
Give us the maintenance update.
So I did provide some updates on completion of tickets and what we've been looking at. I think we're around 86 to 88% completion of tickets. We did share some projects we completed. I know Dr. Cox hit on a couple of those. We did do the decking out at Mountain View. We replaced that, which we were was in need. We did some border work around playground at Blue Ridge, and I think Scott was pretty happy with that. I think that turned out really nice. I do try to share a lot of this on social media too. I think it's important that our people in our community see what we do, and that's an easy way to do it. So I was real happy and proud of the team. We're currently in the process of installing new heaters in different parts of the building at the early learning center, and that's been a very time-taking process. But I think Terry and her team see that coming along. I think we'll be happier with that, knowing that we have heat in those places, or reliable heat in those places. We've got some things coming up with our facility assessment that'll be coming down the road, and that information is scheduled with you guys soon. We'll have that on the board agenda in the next couple of months, so we're excited about that. We have had a small update today with the water tower project out Westwood. Yes, thank you, Dr. Cox. I received the information from our engineering company on Thursday, so it wasn't in your board packet. It's kind of like these board packets really need to evolve to the day that you guys show up, but I can't keep it updated that fast. I apologize. But I did get the return from the engineering company on Thursday. Working to review that. Was spoken with Brantley Price today through some email and conversation. Hoping to speak with some vendors and support so we can provide a solid number and a solid project moving forward. We shared some of that in the morning at the meeting this morning, but to be honest, I want to make sure that we're confident about the delivery of the project before we put a price tag on it and propose that to the board with you guys too. But I do feel better after reviewing some of the work and talking to the engineer about what we have.
And so he's specifically referring to the scope of the Westwood fire sprinkler system that feeds the auditorium at Westwood Elementary School. And really it feeds the hydrants as well, but the scope is what we want to confirm before we bring it back to you all, because there are lots of dollars attached to whatever they do, like over 600,000.
My due diligence and bringing in this concrete, and then I'll have to come back later and ask for a lot more money on top of the end. But again, I just got this information Thursday, so I'm diving through it and trying to make sure we have a quality assessment once we move forward. I don't want to be putting ourselves in a situation where we don't have a product that doesn't need what we need, do what we need there.
Do we have an engineer, that gravity engineer in this project, because that's how the water is being delivered, is gravitational?
Currently, there's civil they're a civil group that we're working with right now, and their models are run through their engineering software. That's the group we've been using currently. I am working with other groups in our community with Brantley and his team to make sure that we hit the marks of the specs that we need to hit. Our engineer has worked with, the fire department or Josh here and our sprinkler company to make sure that they get the right, numbers together. So we're gonna be able to spec the right pump, and there will be a storage tank for drinking water in the new system, is what's in this code. So we don't have it specifically a draft there right now, there's several.
And for the board's information, at the commissioners meeting this morning, I was there, and that one point they hit on was talking about getting them up to date with the sprinkler system and everything there. And Jody and Amanda both did a good job presenting, to the commissioners out there, but, and Jody was honest with his answers. They wanted to, do you have a solution yet? Jody, we're not yet, we're not there yet, so.
Yeah, I mean, I want to deliver a product that works, and I'm not confident, I don't want to tell you that it's gonna work.
And they've made every step, and I don't know that we've shared this in a board meeting, they've been through some emails, but they've actually run lines down to look to make sure there aren't any blockages. You might want to share some of that, and then Jody's been meeting with this pretty robust team to try to figure it out.
Sure, so we did a kickoff meeting trying to again diagnose some of the issues. The engineering firm at the time was the original engineering firm, but didn't complete the project when the project was designed. So their thoughts were there was a blockage in the line. We did bring in a camo company with a local vendor to hope that there was a blockage, because that would have been a much more affordable fix. But again, we wanted to do the due diligence and make sure that we didn't have a blockage in the line, which we didn't. I think the city went out a little bit on it because they found some broken pipe on up in the tower that didn't affect flow, but they got to fix that too. So that was good that they've helped out with that. We appreciate their collaboration and work. But we were able to camera those lines and then be able to validate that it is the gravity is not meeting the spec, and that's where we need to add a pump in addition to what we have, as well as we'll probably add a water drinking tank. I'll say it layman terms, that will be drinking water, and then primarily the bigger tank will be the fire suppression line, which needs to have X number of gallons for the fire department to hit.
Play the devil's advocate, what guarantee do we have that this design will work for those guys?
Well, it will have to pass specs before they sign off on the work. When the work's completed, we'll do a flow test on it. And there will be some fine tuning, and the motor will have to meet specs. We'll have to go back to the engineering firm, and then we'll have to talk to them about solutions.
Well, the reason I was asking is that we've been through several scenarios and none of them seem viable. And so I would like to be confident that whatever solution they come up with is going to be a viable solution, because this has been a problem since the school was built. And,
Well, we only know of when it was inspected by a different inspector, that it didn't work mathematically on paper. It says that it should, but there's no way to go back and recalculate that based on the original drawing. So therefore, that's where we are with this one. But I think the team that we have together under Jody's leadership, they've been very thoughtful on some of the processes, and that's why we don't want to throw spaghetti at the wall and spend, $1 million on something that is not going to work. And
Yeah.
they've been very thoughtful.
Again, that's why, brought pause to the conversation this morning when we asked, we had a solid solution to the issue. I want to make sure that we have a solid plan. Every plan has its holes, but there are adjustments that you can make when you do these projects, and pumps and motors are flexible and have ability to ramp up and ramp down. So you can make, it is not just installing a motor and it runs one drive and runs 1 amps. You can change the variable speeds on those things. So if we're not hitting it, well, we can adjust some of the motors, some things. We can have those conversations before we purchase too. And there's other areas of discussion about what we want to do about design as well, and talk about scope, because one of the conversations is, do we want to do, throw you into the weeds a little bit with it, do we want to have a diesel system, or do we want direct power out there? I mean, there's pros and cons to both. One's going to cost more than the other, but diesel, it gets cold, that separates. It's going to need to have power out there one way or another. So we've got conversations that we need, right now, we've got a spec for a diesel engine right now. We might want to look at what's gonna cost full power. Again, you know, some of the conversations I have to have with the engineer and potential other vendors that we can make sure that we get a number in front of everybody and a plan that'll work.
I appreciate what you did this morning. You and Amanda both did well. How long do you think this project will take?
I don't have a great answer for that right now. I wish I did. I do feel like we're getting close and after, getting some of the
Like
more.
once it got started, like. Cause I know it's a high importance.
Yeah, with DPI, it's gotta go through DPI. That's another variable that I don't have a lot of comfort with saying how long it will sit with them. I do think, we are teed up for a good timeline. With some open windows of construction opportunity with where we're at right now. Because I think the proposal that we've gotten submitted last week is one of the better proposals that we've had, closer to a positive outcome for what we want and what we need to have. We will.
Thank you.
I also listened in this morning and talking about the smaller project. I know the FEMA is doing the sinkhole, but how long do you think it's gonna take to get the new drain lines in and the pad for the playground area? Cause that's all, I'm assuming cordoned off and students can't use it until that's completed. And then the winter's coming, so.
So the drain line is installed and has been covered up from the sinkhole because the drain line did run under the pad. So they did tear up the pad and they've replaced rock on top of the pad. So it's set to re-pour right now. So I think that's in a good timeline as well. Our vendor, I didn't catch up with him today, but I did see there was more rock out there than was out there last week. And again, we know he had some rain and stuff last week too, so it slowed him down a little bit. But I think he's had enough warm weather to where they're moving along pretty good. I see it getting done pretty quick. I mean, we'll hope that we don't get too much more rain and that can help. Yeah, I feel like we're moving pretty solid on that. Thank you.
Any other questions? We just thank you, Jody. You and your entire team have been really working on a lot of different projects. So thank you.
Yep, I thank my team again. They do a great job. Thank you.
Next, the Ashe County 2025 Youth Risk Behavior Survey results. Ms. Lewin.
Good evening. Actually have. So we just last week got the results back from App Health, who helps us with the administration and the evaluation of our survey results. So every 2 years, our students in grades 6 through 12 will take the youth risk behavior survey. And what I've kind of done on this sheet is the front is some middle school things that we're going to look at. And then the backside is on our high school and early college students. But the YRBS has been utilized for lots of years now. It's a national survey, looks at things that students answer concerning safety, bullying, violence-related behaviors, mental and behavioral health, substance use, sexual behavior, and contraceptive use, and then other lifestyle and health-related behaviors. And so the reports are about 140 pages long each for each school, for each grade span. So these are just a few things, and we just got those. So I just wanted to highlight a few things that did kind of stand out because right now the data is still very raw data. So a couple of things that I thought was pretty interesting for our middle school that were areas of improvement are fewer of our students are reporting feeling down, depressed, or hopeless than in years past. And we are still at this point either right in line or right below the state average for that. So that's kind of a positive thing for us because for many years that was not the way our students were reporting. And when I say middle school, it's not just the middle school, it's actually grades 6, 7, 8. So I should clarify that. So it is 6th through 8th grade students. Fewer students are report being bullied on school property or online than in 2023. So that was a nice increase or decrease of about 9%.
And then fewer students have seriously considered suicide. And so those are some of the things that we're working on with our resilience and our skill building and supporting students with their emotional behavioral health. So some areas that were noteworthy and not just of concern, but I'll address too some things that our School Health Advisory Committee, as well as our What Works in Schools grant, this totally fed right into exactly where we were looking to focus anyway. So some areas for our 6th through 8th grade students where more students are reporting that they're unable to stop or control their worrying. So that was a little bit of an increase there. So they're staying worried. Thought about that a little bit going, okay, well, they took this in the spring. These are students who lived through Helene. Things are kind of uncertain. So I'm kind of interested to see with some of our data surveys this year what that's going to look like. More students have engaged in self-harm or attempted suicide. There was an increase there for that grade level. We're going to talk about high school, which have decreased. And that actually is right in line with the national norms as well, state and national. And then more than 67% of our students are using social media for more than 3 hours per day. And so I don't have trend data on that because that was a new question that we added this year. But I think it goes right in line with what Dr. Cox tried, when we're talking about the youngsters generation and the impact of social devices, phones and social media on our kids. And then that same stat right below there, and we're thinking about 6th through 8th grade, more than 74% of our students report using social media several times a day, which meant 3 or more times per day.
So hopefully,
and that should not be.
hopefully efforts with the board saying no phones during the entire school day will help some of these numbers. And I'm truly hopeful that'll help decrease their worry too.
So if you look on the back side, this is a picture from our 9th through 12th grade students from both the early college and the high school. Some areas of improvement, we saw that there were fewer students report feeling sad or hopeless that interfered with their usual activities. That said, it was a 12% decrease there. That's pretty big. We don't usually see a jump like that. So that was encouraging. We had fewer students report that they were not able to stop worrying or controlling. So that was kind of the opposite of our middle school, which does tell us the things we're implementing there kind of help those skills. And our kids might feel, we're working on those things. And I think it's helping. Fewer students report engaging in self-harm, considering suicide or attempting suicide. And there's over 11% decrease there. And that's for our high school kids. And so I do think that we have a lot of supports in place for kids that are at that level of mental health need. And then fewer students were reporting using e-cigarettes, vaping marijuana, or Delta products. We had only surveyed that in 2023 for the first time. In 2021, we did have an e-cigarette question, but not specific to marijuana or Delta, but we did see a decrease in that 2023 to 2025. So areas of concern that we see with our 9th through 12th grade students, more than 6% of students report using nicotine pouches. And so that's kind of a new thing that we were seeing. Students were reporting that they can purchase those things if they're over 18, and they do not contain tobacco, it's just nicotine. I'm sure Mr. Farmer could tell us that that is something that they do see. And so that's kind of a new behavior that's coming around. It was still a pretty low number, but I do think that was our first time asking that. More than 22% of students reported sending or receiving revealing or nude pictures electronically. So that was very significant. We do not ask that of middle school students. That's a high school only level question, but that's an alarming trend. And that was again a new question. And then more than 14% of students report drinking at least one energy drink per week. And I think that we see that those 14% are drinking more than one per week. So I did want to bring out that, our School Health Advisory Committee, the work we're doing with What Works in Schools, we are already addressing a lot of these things, and we're looking at doing some collaboration with our health and PE teachers about the things that are revealed in these surveys about how to educate the children differently, collaborating with some local agencies that can help us teach some things differently, have resources for kids and families. And then we're working on the social media and anxious generation information and how that works with their brains, but also to educate our kids. I think our parents are starting to understand some, but our kids don't always. But I think we're seeing so much less of that this year, thanks to the no funds at school. And then another one of the areas that we were looking at is we're looking to do some education. We think that it's community-wide, but our teachers in particular have asked for some help with some trainings on how to help our kids in different ways and to understand. So we'll be offering youth mental health first aid for any staff member that's working with children. And that was a goal of our SHAC committee as well. So we already have a couple of those trainings set up for the fall, and we'll have more of those for the spring.
Is there any way that we can get this shared with the
So
community?
we are working on it. So App Health actually created like a one pager, but when I got into it, some of the data was a little misleading because the way that it was reported, there was such a small variant from the year before data, and it was, anyway, yes, we are working on that. That's something that this committee and the grant group is working on. But I did not feel like it was ready for public consumption yet. But one of the goals of the SHAC is to make sure our teachers and parents know.
Yes.
I mean, how many of your kids take this data and we don't really hear about it? And I know we work with it within our SHAC committees.
Yeah.
And the people at the health department look at it, but we did want something that was much more digestible for the community. And so that was one of our goals too. So we are working on that.
So is there any way to let the parents know before maybe letting the whole community,
Yeah.
letting parents know first?
And so maybe we can.
That your kids are being surveyed and asked these questions?
No, they already know
Oh, they
they're
already
being
know.
asked these questions. Oh, yes.
Yes, they are.
That's the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're already asked whether their child can participate, and it's an opt out. So if you don't want your child to participate, they sign a permission, say no. And then the survey questions are on record here so that we can have parents come meet those.
And that's always 10 days in
10
advance.
days, we do more than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what we found, so with our high school and early college, we only got 560 students that participated. And the reason is the time of the day if they're in college classes, it's really hard. So we've explored several different ways. And the way we did it this past year, I think, was through homeroom on a day that was a set homeroom day. But we only had about 60% of our enrolled students that were able to participate. But what we do find is usually our 9th and 10th grade participation is much higher because those 11th and 12th are sometimes in classes. And then our middle school students, which included 6, 7, and 8, there were 496 students, which was 79% of that population. So all of that will be coming to you guys. I just wanted to give you the preliminary. We kind of got it last week, but it's a lot. And so I was getting it down to just a little bit of comments for you guys.
Can you tell, what are these students worrying about so much? You asked that question, what worries them so much?
So it's, of course, it's a survey, it's anonymous.
But you don't ask that particular question, why are you worried about?
So we have a couple things in place at the school level during the school year that is identifiable, that our students will participate in surveys with parent permission to be able to answer how they're feeling. And if we were to see, an alarming response from that child, it would trigger that teacher, that counselor, that somebody to work with that child. This one's just real anonymous. No, not really. But I would say in general, when we're talking to kids, they're worried about the stuff that's outside of their control. So a lot of times they're worried about home situation or a financial situation that's really not a kid situation. That's what I see. That's what any other administrator to jump in there, but a lot of times our kids are worried about the things that are not children problems.
That's what I'm talking. Well, what concerns me more than anything else is that 22% those parents need to be educated some form.
Agreed.
That's gonna cause trouble down the line for somebody. Bad troubles.
I don't know if you know yet or not, but since no funds, has the bullying went down a lot?
I would allow our administrators, I don't know it doesn't reach me until it's code red anyway, so.
Because that's one thing a parent said to me, you know, why do you worry about hitting the phones while bullying should be number one? But bullying, they didn't understand that a lot of bullying was going on.
Most of it was electronic.
So I was just curious.
We still can't monitor what they do outside of school.
But like, yeah.
And that's where it starts. A lot of online stuff starts outside of school. It's definitely helped with behavior overall. Our number one behavior issue is cell phones right now. Of catching them not in the pouch or whatever that's. So, but a lot of that stuff happens before it gets to school. So unless the habit changes outside of school.
I would say from a student's perspective, it's not.
Really?
Maybe a little improvement. That's my mind.
I appreciate it.
And it could be different at the early college. I don't know if you, but I think it's pretty universal, you know, it's. I mean, it happened regardless, really, like, I'm sure it happens outside of school, you know, where it starts, but I know that's what they can get you, like, you can't like tell somebody else.
From your perspective, Claire, what would you suggest that might be something that can improve the situation?
I would say a good chunk of why it happens is kind of the society we're in currently. I know people say that and it's like, oh, whatever, but it's very true. It truly is. I mean, I know they say a lot of things regarding social media and things like that have a huge impact, and that is completely true. It's just, it's our generation, I think, a little bit. And it's just a lot of, sometimes it's jealousy, sometimes it's just people being upset with each other, sometimes it's just, there's always different cases. So improving wise, I would just say, keep kindness going. That's about, I mean, just, yeah.
Well, and you guys are both doing great things from a kindness perspective proactively at both the high school and the early college. So kudos to you all for leading that when sometimes others do not.
That is why I was so very, very happy when our Lighthouse team started the clips. Because that, like I said, is really, I can tell it's brought an impact because students are going, oh, and they're still very excited, and that always brings a smile. So that's one thing I have.
I get tickled when you call them clips instead of clothespins.
Their little slogan for it is called getting clipped. So I just go with what they say.
You don't know what they're originally used for.
I think that much.
I didn't even put it on.
I'll have to hang on that some more definitely.
That may be part of the solution.
Any other questions? Jamie, comments? Thank you so much. Next, we come here is the Warrensville.
So this was really interesting. So Amanda received an email. Oh, wait, a call first, and then there were some emails back and forth. But essentially in 1961, the Warrensville Community Center property was conveyed to the Warrensville Community Group for $1. And then in 1996, the group entered into a 40-year lease agreement with Brock. And they, of course, vacated the property in December of 2023. So the community group has only one active member, and the other members have either passed or they're just no longer able to participate. But per the deed, the ownership of the property reverts to Ashe County Schools when the group ceases to use it. So we have confirmation that the group has ceased to use that property. It sustained significant damage in Helene, and we're told that it's likely a total loss as far as the building is concerned. The land is located in a floodplain, and that is confirmed, and so therefore, you can't even build on a floodplain anymore. And the deed and lease documents, of course, were attached in that. So essentially, we've got some decisions to make. And we just wanted you all to have an opportunity to read this, look at it, and see what you think. I don't know that it has any value to Ashe County Schools. Amanda and I've talked about this.
Could I give this group a little history lesson?
We would love a history lesson on the property, Diane.
When the Northwest was first built, they did not have a gymnasium. And so the kids, in order to have PE, walked to the community building in Warrensville, the very building that we are discussing. And they had PE there and health there, and then they would walk back to Northwest High School for their other classes. So after the gym was built by the community, a few years later, Josh, just a few, when 4 or 5 years later, I know we had it because I was there. And so they ceased using it as a school building, and that's about the time that Ralph Davis and Sam Shoemate and some of those guys got together and said, we need a community building. And so that's probably when it was leased for that. And it's been very active, actually, until last year. That's where I did my voting, was in that building for the Warrensville community. For Clifton, that's where you voted, was in that building. And so, of course, the hurricane did tremendous damage there. There's debris everywhere. I think the reason Brock left that facility was because the building was in such bad shape. So they relocated to Lansing, where they're continuing to conduct the Blue Ridge Opportunity Commission and their mission. It's in Lansing right now. Of course, it's a fraction of what it used to be in my time. I worked for Blue Ridge Opportunity Commission as a teenager. And it played a very important part in our communities for helping kids and helping the community. So it's sort of sad to see it like that, but just so you know.
Thank you, Diane. That's actually helpful because some of us didn't have any perspective on where it started and then where it is now. It was originally a school. So there are some knowns and unknowns. The knowns, of course, are the floodplain and that it's pretty significantly damaged. Really what we need from the board is maybe a discussion. You might not be ready for what to do next with the piece of property, since it does fall back in the school's lap, so to speak. If you'd like me to reach out to Fred Johnson about additional next steps, but essentially determine whether we want to reclaim it and do something with it, or which I really don't see happening. It would be an investment that would be extraordinary from our perspective. Whether to, obviously, the county gets first right of refusal on any of the school system's properties, but whether we sell it or you know, how we, dispose or reinvest, whatever.
I was looking at it. Does it say is it at least an acre or less than an acre?
I don't have the actual drawing on it, but I can find that out. I don't think it's an acre.
Couldn't imagine that it would be, it's right out, it's just that with the doors,
It's-
the parking lot area.
That's
So
it.
that's,
I'd be interested to know, because I know there's some other property that the school owns that it used to be polling places. I mean, is there some other property that could lump into some of that? Just, you know, just to see what's out there before we make a decision on that, if there are any other things. Because I know there's one piece of property near the Apple Grove Church. It used to be a voting precinct, and the property, when it closed, reverted back to, and it's still on the docket. It's an Ashe County Schools.
So we can probably do a record of deeds search to figure that out. Have Fred do that. Usually we have, an attorney would do that type of a search to find out if those which are actually in our
It might
name.
be a good time to look at it with this, just to kind of see.
I think another thing to look at is what is happening to the properties that surround it, because it's all on a floodplain. It seems to me that it make like good sense to become, that whole area to become community garden spaces people could use, or a community park. But anything other than that, you're not gonna be able to build there. So I would do research on that as well.
And I would really like for Sam to give us some perspective on that, because I'm sure he knows all the history and he knows all the players and all of that stuff. And I think it would be very, wise for us to ask him for input.
And I think last time I drove down there to go to the middle school or something, that building looks like it's off its foundation completely. Knew the hell
It was
I think it knocked it off.
devastating,
It was just a building on like pillars, like cinder block. Pillars, probably rocks before that. I think it's built, I think. But I have.
I honestly don't think that, well, we have to give it back to the county unless we could designate something like that then for that little community there. There are a number of houses over there, some which were really about flood, some which were not. The ones a little bit higher up survived a lot better than the one flooded to the creek, because it was on both sides. And the water came down on both sides of that creek. So, that might be a good thing for us to do, because I honestly don't think we can sell it very easily. I don't know if the permission would want it for anything either, but if we could designate some kind of public works kind of thing, even a flower garden, that's what they would guess. But I'm also worried about, it's gonna take some money to clear that mess up. So if it's our property, it's gonna be our responsibility to get that cleaned up, is it not?
the trucks coming, the trucks and the big trucks are coming. But they clean it up.
I don't know, but it's definitely, nothing's happened so far.
We've not claimed the property.
No, we have not, but it reverts according to what's in the deed, so we can get that information. I mean, this wouldn't have even been something that we would have claimed on FEMA, because we didn't know at the time that was gonna happen, so. And based on our other properties, they're not gonna do anything with it.
Maybe if the community of Warrensville is interested in having a park or walking trails or something else in that area, they would be able to pull volunteers together to clean it up. In order to access, especially with the land isn't gonna cost them anything in significant amount.
The two churches there might join together in a project, that would benefit the children of that community. There used to be some playground equipment there. Yeah, there was a spinning thing, there was some slide kind of things, and I think that's been brought to people, that we have some playground equipment stuff. So, it might be something, a project that they would be willing to undertake if we are willing to let them come back. At least that part.
we have to do something with it. Whatever, right, so I will, see if we can have, Fred look into, the other properties that potentially, and then give us, a final direction on what the actual options are. And then some of those suggestions, certainly can be entertained at the next board meeting.
Next for the board, we've got policies that need updating, which we've been working on those.
So I've got an update to the update, so, which is something. First of all, Janet kindly pointed that March 15th is actually a Sunday, which we won't be here on a Sunday, but the 16th would be the next day. So it's I put a question mark beside January because we always have snow in January. So I don't even know if that's a safe thing to do is have a meeting in January, extra for policies, but I did receive information specifically from the School Boards Association today. And she actually gave me a heads up on Friday, but did not send this stuff until today. But she said that essentially that the 3000 series that we worked on are now significantly outdated from when you worked on them, and to toss them. And she said, don't even look at them. In fact, I'm supposed to like retract access to those, throw them away. And she sent today at 3:38 the summer update that happened recently that has several other policies that now I'll have to bring to you, but I just got the updated because they did last week. The state board met and put some rules around some of them. So those policies will have to be brought to you in November for approval in December because they've got to get on the books if there's no choice in that. But then the excuse me, the 3000 series, it says, she says, as with the 3000 series set, please delete any previous versions of the summer update and of the 3000 series because many of those have had significant updates just in the last several months. So because of this, and because of we have so many, and of course, you know, we started working on them. You guys have made great progress on the 1000s and 2000s. We're in the 3000s. In the summer update, there are some that are significant that are out of order that have to be on policy per our General Assembly. And so we'll bring those to you, but I would like to offer do policy work sessions, maybe on the third Monday of the month. Perhaps at a 4 o'clock, so it's not too late. I don't know what time would be convenient for you all. We're amenable to just about anything. But that way we can actually dedicate time to these policies so that when an update occurs, then it can just go into consent or even in policy. Most of them are not a choice to update. It's usually because a law has been enacted, and then we can just do that administratively and inform the board that this is the change that has happened to that particular policy due to law. So I'd like to suggest that we come together on a regular basis. That way everybody can plan for it, and then it gives us time in between the meetings, because this is a lot of work, not just for the School Boards Association, but for our team who has to put it together.
I like the idea of the third Monday of the month automatically scheduled, because long-term planning, it's hard to switch some things. So this helps me. Yeah, I've already got it on it. I know Sundays.
Sometimes it's more convenient if they meet a little earlier than 4.
Which I'm amenable to anything. I mean, we're here all day, so.
Great.
It's interesting that the state can do these policies, but we can't get a budget. Interesting observation. If they don't get us a budget, we won't need the policy of
Like Paul this comment at 3 to 6, these sessions will probably easily take 3 hours. And if we are doing 4 to 7, then it's dinner's going to have to be done.
Unless you buy us dinner.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like-
Just saying.
Well, when we come, we should have, but we have marked, we want changes, so we're ready to change what we don't like. Most of them are gonna
Let's
be,
just do the 3 to 6.
most of them are gonna be, they're there, you have, can't change any 3 to 6.
Another thing we might consider is those policies that the state legislature might not touch for a while. Get those updated, because it seems like that they're more picking and choosing more about some policies than others. So, you know, we might go out of order to try to get more done quicker if we think the legislature are going to. For sure.
so the ones there are a couple of policies that have been updated since then, but we can bring those differently. But some of these require a lot of work because it's been 10, 15 years. And so the significant change, it would almost be worth because a lot of it is no leeway on language, or because it's the law now, it might almost be worth just adopting the policy and going back and changing anything, going back and changing anything at that same time for that you don't want to adopt as a part of it. But, you know, I understand, you know, we're still gonna have to take the time regardless to go through them. And I think, well, it's also good practice to know what the policies are.
Everybody okay with like the 3 to 6?
3 to 6. Which policy are we gonna read in 3,000 first?
Well, I will bring you, yes, we will be bringing this, because several of the 3,000s are the ones that have the immediate updates, and they were never approved. So we'll have to do those first. As well as I will be bringing some additional policies that are already the law. And when they pass them, they said that we should already have them in our policy, which of course is not possible. Most of them in practice, we already do. Some of them are with religious rights. Of course, we're going to make sure that we're taking care of our kids and asking parent permission for certain things. You know, those have been a practice for a long time. Our books, we have them online. You know, parents can review what's in our collections already. However, we already have processes for those who want to object to anything. Our policy doesn't necessarily reflect that, but that's what we've done in practice for a long period of time.
So you'll send them all the 3,000.
I will send the 3,000s to you. I have them in my inbox. I just have to upload it to Google and delete everything else access that you've had access to, so there is no confusion. And because I was told that it would be highly confusing if not. So that's the plan.
I've got a motion to adjourn.